Why not cross by boat CH-003? The bone of a loyal general. Peng Yu pulled Nan Yi behind him, and as he held her sleeve, he subtly placed the silk letter into her hand before stepping forward to meet Sheikh Kashan's cold gaze. The two stared at each other in silence, emotions from years past surging between them. But Nan Yi did not notice the strange tension in the air. She only felt her knees weaken, certain that there was no escaping this situation. In a flash, Nan Yi swiftly adjusted her position and, before Peng Yu could speak, she ran forward and fell to her knees with a loud thud in front of Sheikh Kashan. Master, I was wrong. I shouldn't have stolen your pouch. Nan Yi handed over the pouch and the crumpled silk letter to Sheikh Kashan. Sheikh Kashan looked at her with mild interest. Nan Yi, steeling herself, pointed toward Peng Yu. This man, his name is Peng Yu. He is from the Imperial Guard, and he knows where Prince Lingyan is hiding. Her clear voice rang out, and everyone present froze. They had expected to catch a petty thief, but instead, they had stumbled upon a much bigger fish. Peng Yu's face showed disbelief, quickly followed by an expression of rage. You. Nan Yi looked at Sheikh Kashan with pleading eyes. Master, I just want to survive. I don't want to die here with him. I've provided you with such an important lead. Doesn't that count as redeeming myself? Please, spare my life. Sheikh Kashan lowered his gaze and casually glanced at Nan Yi, then his eyes shifted back to Peng Yu, and he formally greeted him, Peng Zixu, it's been a long time. Zixu was Peng Yu's courtesy name, one that friends, family, and teachers would use, but hearing it from Sheikh Kashan felt particularly jarring. 6 years ago, after Peng Yu betrayed the Qi army, he swore to end Sheikh Kashan's life with his own hands, but secretly he also hoped he would never have to see him again. Until today, when their paths crossed once more. Peng Yu gritted his teeth. I swore that if I ever saw you again, either you would die, or I would. Sheikh Kashan smiled. Then what do you think will happen today? Peng Yu said nothing more and drew his sword, charging into battle. Before Sheikh Kashan could move, the Qi soldiers surged forward, surrounding Peng Yu. Every strike from Peng Yu was filled with the resolve to either kill or be killed, and for a time no one could get close to him. But such a self-destructive attack couldn't last long, especially with his injuries, and soon he began to tire. He swung his sword at Sheikh Kashan, but it was easily deflected by Peng, who used the scabbard of his own sword. Peng Yu staggered, and one of the Qi soldiers behind him swiftly slashed his tendons, forcing him to kneel. The Qi soldiers immediately surrounded him, and Peng Yu, exhausted, had no strength left to fight. Sheikh Kashan stepped in front of him, lifting his outer robe, and examining his chest wound. If I had known the person in the mountains was you that day, I would have aimed the arrow differently so that you would have enough strength left to kill me. Unfortunately, most confrontations in this world are unfair. Before they even start, the strong and the weak are already decided. Sheikh Kashan, stop talking, and just kill me. Sheikh Kashan shook his head. Zixu, we had years of friendship when we were younger. I don't want to kill you. Tell me where Prince Lingyan is hiding, and I'll spare your life. Go to hell. You traitor, betrayer of your country, you don't deserve a good death. In this world, everyone is just trying to survive. Why sacrifice your life for Xu Zhao's? It's not worth it. Peng Yu, kneeling with his back straight, gave Sheikh Kashan a look of disgust and turned his gaze to Nan Yi, gritting his teeth. Some people are willing to cling to their own lives, but I am not. Nan Yi shuddered, still not daring to raise her head. She could feel the sorrow, disgust and resolve in his gaze, and she knew those words were meant for her. She lowered her head in guilt and moved behind a withered tree, trying to distance herself from the conflict. At that moment Hisha arrived, escorting the innkeeper and several workers, all bound and trembling. A good performance would not be complete without an audience, Hisha said. It seems they've been taking care of the injured General Peng here these past few days, so I've brought them along. Peng Yu's eyes were bloodshot with rage. He wanted nothing more than to kill Sheikh Kashan, and Hisha with his gaze alone. The innkeeper and his workers were tied up and shaking in fear. Sheikh Kashan crouched down in front of Peng Yu, looking at him calmly. Zixu, the plan to assist in Prince Lingyan's escape from Liju has been leaked. Xuzhou is already in our grasp, whether captured today or tomorrow. If you tell me where he is hiding in the mountains, the credit will be yours. High rank and riches, I will promise you all of that. Spit. These people's lives depend entirely on your decision. Take your time to think it over. If you remember, tell me. You have 1 incense stick's worth of time. 1 person dies with the passing of the incense, and there are 8 people in this inn. Peng Yu howled at Sheikh Kashan, Sheikh Kashan, you beast. At that moment the innkeeper suddenly shouted at Peng Yu, General Peng. We common folk can die without fear, don't worry about our lives. The Qi army's commander, Hisha, visibly annoyed, drew his knife and stabbed it straight into the innkeeper's abdomen. Damn it, stop talking so much. The sound of the blade slicing through flesh wasn't loud, but Nan Yi heard it clearly. She almost cried out, quickly covering her mouth. He Sha pulled the knife out, and the innkeeper crumpled to the ground, dying with his eyes wide open. Shay Kashan said nothing, but glanced at the incense burner. He Sha followed his gaze, noticing the incense hadn't burned out yet. He turned the blade in his hand, slicing through the incense stick with a swift motion. It's out. He Sha raised an eyebrow and glanced at Shay Kashan. Zixu, you see. General, He Sha lacks patience. Pang Yu looked at the dead innkeeper, his body trembling violently. A beast-like scream of pain escaped his throat. The Qi soldiers moved forward and replaced the incense in the burner. Before they could even place it in, He Sha raised his foot and crushed it, then with a swift motion of the blade, killed another in-worker. Blood splattered across Shay Kashan and Pang Yu. Shay Kashan calmly looked at Pang Yu. Zixu, do you want more people to die? Pang Yu suddenly laughed maniacally, his tears mixing with the blood on his face. A mighty man, now with tears in his eyes. Prince Lingyan, he's not just a royal prince, but a banner that the people look up to. If he can ascend to the throne, the leaderless realm will reunite under one banner, and the great kingdom will once again stand tall in the center of the world. To protect this banner, what is death to me? One day, the emperor will rise again, bringing his people, and drive you Qi soldiers out of Bianying. Pang Yu stood with his back straight, even though he knew no one here cared whether he stood or kneeled to die. His words rang out clearly, though he knew they would soon be lost in the snow-covered wilderness. For a moment, everyone fell silent. Pang Yu laughed again, this time more calmly. Your Majesty, I go ahead. Suddenly, an astonishing strength erupted from Pang Yu's exhausted body. Even 3 Qi soldiers couldn't hold him back. He broke free from their grasp and lunged forward, reaching for Shay Kashan's sword. The surrounding Qi soldiers swiftly drew their swords to protect Shay Kashan, instinctively aiming their blades at Pang Yu. Shay Kashan shouted stop. But it was already too late. Heaven bless our great Yu. Pang Yu cried out, then crashed into the blades of the Qi soldiers. The cold steel cut through his arteries and hot blood spilled onto the snow, staining his clothes. In an instant, he collapsed. It was like a bubble floating to the surface of the water, popping with a quiet sound, disappearing in an instant. Shay Kashan lost his composure and pushed the Qi soldiers aside, rushing to check Pang Yu's pulse at his neck. His pulse was fading at an alarming speed. With his last ounce of strength, Pang Yu grabbed Shay Kashan's sleeve. He had completed his duty, sacrificing himself gallantly, and now his eyes could rest. His final gaze in this world, filled with sadness and confusion, was directed at his former close friend. Shay Chan. I never betrayed our youthful O. Chan was the name he had taken after leaving his homeland, and it was his true name. It had been many years since anyone had called him by it. Was he referring to the oath of life and death between brothers, or the oath they made in their youth to protect each other? It would never be known.